Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. There we go. Good morning, everyone. Today, let's talk about what everyone is waiting for. At least if you're in the U.S. The Fed minutes is coming, so let's talk about what that's about and how that can affect what's coming for the remainder of this year. And also, of course, let's talk about Bitcoin. It formed a new historic low on this one indicator. And think about that. Bitcoin has never, ever, ever been this low before. And lastly, let's talk about Gary Gensler, who may be in deep trouble. So let's talk about all these things and more, guys. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, let's start out with some good news. President Bukele of El Salvador is about to introduce his Bitcoin bonds. And he wants to raise $1 billion. $1 billion. And that's because he wants to create a Bitcoin city. So, just kind of like Michael Saylor and all the Bitcoin bulls out there, he's not giving up. He took a lot of heat for buying Bitcoin, sticking with Bitcoin. The big boys like the IMF did not like it at all. He's been under a lot of pressure to kind of get away from Bitcoin, right? Obviously coming down from its peak. But he's like, no, we're continuing forward. So that is absolutely fantastic. That is what we want to see. More countries, more cities adopt and embrace Bitcoin. So that is absolutely fantastic. So I want to start out with that news because there are some other news that's not so good, including New York. New York governor signs first of its kind law cracking down on Bitcoin mining. So basically, if you're a Bitcoin miner and you are not using 100% renewable energy, you will not get your license renewed, or can you get a new license? You have to prove that it's 100% renewable. Now, here's the thing. This new governor thinks that, hey, we're the first to crack down on Bitcoin mining. Yay, look at us, right? What are the miners going to do? They're going to say, okay, goodbye. I mean, it's really that simple. Right, if you're going to make it that restrictive, and keep in mind, New York does have the BIT license, which is still very restrictive. And I think the new mayor is trying to overturn that. But, when you introduce something like this, what the miners are going to do is go somewhere else. There's other states that's a lot more pro or more friendly towards miners. So I don't think this is going to have the effect that she wants, unless she just absolutely just wants them to leave. That's really the bottom line. I think that's what it is. I don't even know how many miners are in New York, to be honest. I never hear about really big miners saying, oh, we're opening up our new farm in New York. It's all in Texas. So I'm not quite sure what effect this is going to have. But you know what? Let's just call it a negative for now. All right. So as for investors, everyone is looking at the Fed minutes. This will be released later today. I don't know when. I think it's towards noontime. I don't know the exact hour that this is going to be replaced. I mean, not replaced. Going to come out. But the Fed minutes, of course, is the Fed meeting minutes, which recaps what was said during the last FOMC meeting. Now, Powell gave the last FOMC meeting, in my opinion, was the one that Powell was really kind of like going in circles. He was frazzled, in my opinion. He got hit with a lot of hard questions. And I don't know. From all the Fed minute meetings I had attended with you guys, I thought the last one was probably the one where he was the most worried in a way, right? The reason being because he knows inflation is still very high, right? But it's getting to a point where you don't want to do too much. We're seeing that slowdown that he mentioned. We're seeing jobs starting to come off the table. We're starting to see people get laid off. We're seeing the tech sector get hammered, right? And we're seeing inflation numbers starting to slow down slightly, right? So he was trying to factor all these things in. He gave some dovish language, but still remained very hawkish. So it was kind of a conflict. But the minutes may reveal more in terms of whether or not there's a danger of being too aggressive with the rate hikes, with too much front loading. So we'll see. We'll see if anything else comes out of this. But the next big meeting will be mid-December, and that's where we may get a 50 basis point hike instead of 75 basis point hike, and that would be fantastic as they start tapering off the rate hikes, right? There will be more rate hikes. They're not going to stop it, but it's going to start tailing off. So we will see. This will be a big event. The U.S. market right now is not moving because of it. But, crypto market is moving because there's just a lot of good stuff right now, despite this whole FTX saga. Gary Gensler is being called into question. We know that, yes, FTX has collapsed, right? But we have Minnesota. We have someone from Minnesota, congressperson, Tom Emmer, that is calling out Gary Gensler specifically. He's been calling out Gary Gensler for quite a while, and he did an interview this morning talking about, again, Gary Gensler and how he's just not doing his job. And he's been colluding with SBF in terms of getting special treatment, right? What's that about? He's still trying to get to the bottom of that. So I don't know if more will be, I don't know if Gary is going to be looked more into, I guess, was what I'm trying to say. But, let me play this. I think this is a pretty good listen. It's pretty short. I already moved it up to where he gets to the good stuff. Let's listen to this real quick. Let me make sure the volume is all right. Okay, let me get the volume up.
Yeah, major questions, Charles. I mean, look, Gary Gensler and the SEC, apparently they had meetings last March with Sam Bankman-Fried and executives from FTX and a trading firm here in the U.S., and they were working apparently with Sam Bankman-Fried and others to give them special treatment from the SEC that others aren't getting. And they announced a partnership with this trading firm last April. We kept trying to find out what exactly the partnership is all about. We didn't get those answers. And obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried then was pushing special treatment legislation through Congress. And when it was finally revealed what it was, and the industry actually started raising red flags all over the place, that's when this thing came apart. And it's really a failure, it appears, of Gary Gensler to actually deal with the bad guys. You got to ask yourself, Charles, where was he on Celsius? Where was he on Voyager? Where was he on Terra Luna? And now, where was Gary Gensler on FTX? Yeah. This is exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And Terry was talking about that. What is the regulator responsible for this doing, going after good actors in the community and working backroom deals, it appears, with people who are doing nefarious things?
Representative, we got less than a minute to go.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. So it's apparent why Sam Bankman-Fried was making all those campaign donations, because he was trying to push for legislation that would give more power to central exchanges like his own and push his own special agendas, right? But Gary is deeply involved with this. So again, is he going to be investigated over this whole saga? Hopefully. And I wonder who the good actors are. Is he referring to Ripple? This may be a good thing for Ripple. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. I'm just speculating there. But I do think Gary needs to be checked on some of these stuff, especially when it comes to SBF. Now, he did mention Terry. I was wondering, which Terry is this? Well, actually, you know how Elon Musk, after he talked to SBF, he's like, this guy is just full of BS. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't have that money. If he does, it's not good, right? CME Group, now the CEO, Terry Duffy, also said that after he talked to SBF, he knew he was an absolute fraud. I mean, all these guys, they talk to this guy and they're like, yeah, this is just absolutely horrible. Now, Terry also says that the bad actors are just bad actors. It's not a reflection of crypto, right? SBF is not a reflection of crypto, but yeah, he's like, right away my suspicions were up. Why is there so much pressure coming for this applicant? Because the CFTC was looking to create rules to allow some kind of new trading model, and there was just a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of stuff from even the regulators to kind of allow SBF to push his agenda. And even Terry's like, why? Why are you letting this guy get all this special treatment? We now know why, because, he has inside connections with Gary and all the campaign donations, right? So the good thing is a lot of these people recognize that it's not crypto as a whole that's bad. We just have bad actors. That's all, right? So it's good to hear that people are not just damning the whole industry just because of one company or one man. So that's also very good. So, today overall, Bitcoin, is up a little bit, 16.4. So obviously much better than our bottom of 15.5. And the entire crypto cap is coming up. So good things overall. And maybe Gary is going to see a jail cell in the future. I don't know. I'm just saying that just to sound dramatic. But as for Bitcoin itself, if you're looking at a chart like this, if you're a technical guy and you're looking at like a chart like this, you would say, oh man, you gotta dump that right away, right? If you look at Bitcoin like as it's going, you have to say, well, it's hitting up against a resistance, right? And it's overshot in the RSI, you got to just dump that. Well, here's the thing. This is a reversal chart. This is the inverse chart of what Bitcoin looks like. Yet, when people look at this in reverse, very little people is like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to flip up. It's a reversal point. You got to buy, right? But if this was reversed like this, you would have all the short sellers saying, yeah, it's time to short Bitcoin, right? That's the funny thing. So TechDev posted this like, hey, the bears will be shorting this all day long, yet the bulls are not longing all day long, with this actually being the opposite of what you're seeing, right? And that brings me to this, which I think a lot of you guys already know. If you go to the monthly chart, this is going back all the way to the beginning, okay? You go all the way back to the beginning with all the previous cycles before, and we had 3 of them, and we're entering the 4th one. Bitcoin has never, ever, ever, ever been this oversold. RSI has never, ever, ever been this low. This is a historic low for Bitcoin. So why would you not want to pick up right now? Why would you continue to wait and wait and wait and wait, and you just may wait yourself out of a life-changing wealth opportunity, right? So just like the other chart I showed you, I think that's a pretty powerful message. If it was in reverse, you got all the shorters saying, hey, let's short it. But right now, while things are very low, historic low, especially with RSI, you have very little people saying, oh, let's go long Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin, right? Now, I don't want to generalize that everyone's like that. A lot of you guys watching, of course, are staying bullish, are DCing, are picking up your favorite crypto. That's fantastic. I'm just talking about generally speaking. You got a lot of people that's really worried, thinking that, it's all over due to this FTX collapse. It's not. Just short term, we got some volatility, and you could think of it as a gift, an early Black Friday gift or early Christmas gift, the gift of low prices. All right, what else is there? Polygon is also doing pretty good today. Actually, in fact, a lot of projects doing good. BNB shot up today. BNB I saw is up 12%, and then you got others that's going up, right? You got Litecoin still up, Solana up. You got some good movers today. But Polygon, of course, one of my favorite projects, and they keep building and they keep growing. And you see some of these metrics, right? How many total transactions, the address count, how many tokens there are, right? Self-deployed contracts. These numbers continue to go up. So very bullish for Polygon. And then what else is there? I saw this. I'm not familiar with this VC, Funbushi Capital by Bo Shen. I mean, they just had $42 million drained from their Ethereum wallet. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know. I've never heard of them, so I don't know. But it's still a significant amount of money. Unfortunately, that did happen. And I think that's pretty much it. Today's overall is a recovery day. That's good. We're one day before Thanksgiving, obviously. So, maybe people are feeling cheerful. Maybe that minute report that's going to come out is going to be more dovish than hawkish. So, yeah, let's leave it at that. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up here. The Gensler coin is pumping. Gensler is chilling in the Bahamas with SBF right now. Let's see here. Gensler taught crypto at MIT or taught blockchain. That's why so many people thought that he was going to be a good candidate to be SEC chair. People thought he really understood. He was a long-term believer. It just seemed like that was one big fake out, really. Like, he kind of pretended like he knew and he was pro, and then he just turned very anti, And it seems like the whole job is just like a mission for him to attain more power, it really changed, really, after he took office. General Beaver, appreciate that. Coinbase wallet doesn't accept Flow. Where can I find a Flow wallet? That's an interesting question. I'm surprised they don't because it's a ERC20 token. Oh no, Flow has their own chain. That's why. You have to look at probably Flow's own native wallet. Michael, thank you for the super chat. What else? If Coinbase was found to be insolvent, will crypto on Coinbase wallet be safe? Yes, because you could just recover your crypto on another wallet using a recovery phrase. So yes. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about Coinbase, whether or not it's really insolvent. Just yesterday, I covered how CZ kind of called Coinbase out. And Brian Armstrong right now says everything is good. Everything is regulated. Everything's looked at, audited. There's reports they have to produce every quarter, and this whole tie with Genesis and, Grayscale, and all of the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Trust is held in Coinbase custody. They have over 2 million Bitcoins. I mean, right now this seems like they're still good. They're good. The market turned green. This morning was kind of flat. Now we're seeing green. Look at this. Santa Claus rally. I've been telling you guys that. We may see a Santa rally. Is that Gensler holding a camera for Carolina SPF? That would be funny. That would be funny. They're holding near and dot. No. Neither right now. I staked my ETH on Coinbase yesterday. Hopefully you understand that once you stake it in, you're not able to take it out. On Coinbase, you could take the CB ETH out and do what you want with it, but you can't take out the ETH until the next upgrade, which could be 6 to 12 months from now. Today is Wednesday. I'll be DCAing tonight. Will I be adding some Litecoin to my portfolio? You'll have to tune in and find out. DXY is dumping. Let's see. Where's the DXY at? Oh, wow. That's a big dump this morning. That's a big dump. The minutes report didn't even come out yet. I guess people are anticipating that the minutes report is going to be more dovish. But that's a huge dump on the DXY. But, you know, the good thing about DXY is it's been coming down, right? Big time. Seems like that, you know, that trajectory, that trend line has been broken. And now it's heading down. And that's what we want to see. We don't want to see the DXY keep skyrocketing. So if we start seeing it taper and go head lower, you know, down in the 90s, that's fantastic. That's going to be really fantastic. And I guess, you know, we'll see. The economic numbers that we've been getting has been bad, okay? But not horrible. But it's good because it shows that the economy is slowing down. And that's good because it forces the Fed to slow down the rate hikes. So overall, that's leading to good things. Mike, I already answered that question. Yes. What do you think will happen to Genesis lending partners? They'll probably go bankrupt. It's one company within DCG, so it sounds like DCG is willing to just let them go bankrupt. You know, DCG also has a lot of money. If they wanted to plug that hole, they can. Or maybe, yeah, Binance already said they're not doing it. So who knows? You know, you have you know, Tron and Ripple both fighting over FTX assets. Maybe they want to take over Genesis, but probably not. There's too much scrutiny over lending companies, especially in the U.S., so I don't think anyone's going to bail them out. I think they will probably go in bankruptcy too. Any inspiring words for new investors who are down? You gotta think long term. First of all, hopefully you didn't invest more than what you could afford to lose. That's rule number one. Number two is you invest for long term. You're not trading. There's a difference between trading and investing. And most new investors get that confused because they think they could get in and out, make some quick money, right? That's trading. That's not investing. And if you are going to be trading, which you can be successful at, but you have to really, really know and be disciplined. You have to trade like a machine. You have to utilize all the tools at your disposal, right? But that's not what most investors are like. They're not disciplined like that, and they don't know how to do that. So if you are going to be investing, right, take it slow. Buy when there's opportunities. Buy when other people are fearful, and you hold. Think of it as a long-term investment. 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. That's where most of the gains will be had. Long-term, not short-term. Sid Michael, appreciate that. Parker Mills, do you have any buy orders under 10K? No, I don't. I think it's very, very unlikely we're going to go below 10K unless we have some huge disaster like Coinbase becomes insolvent or Binance becomes insolvent or Tether becomes insolvent. Unless we have something like that, okay, I don't believe Bitcoin's going to go below 10K. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you want to set a buy order, I guess, but I think unless something huge, very, very huge and bad happens, we're not going to see that. If Genesis goes bankrupt, do you think Gemini earn funds will not be released? Yes, that's exactly what it means. Unfortunately, because Gemini earn is using Genesis. So if they go bankrupt, you're not going to get it back. You'll probably get something back after the bankruptcy hearing. Gemini says they are working hard with Genesis to try to release people's funds, but I don't know what that means. Unless Gemini themselves bail out Genesis, which they could, because it's a PR nightmare for them right now. I don't know if Gemini does have like $1 billion they could invest towards Genesis and just take it over. Maybe. The minute report didn't come out yet. We're waiting for that. Okay? But the last 2-minute report didn't show anything new. So I don't really expect much to be revealed. Okay? The biggest thing that we're waiting for is the next FOMC meeting, which is mid-December. That will set the tone for an entire 2023, really. Because if we get a 50 basis point hike rather than 75, that means in 2023, they're going to start slowing it down. They're going to start slowing it maybe another 50, then 25, right? And then they're going to stop. And that's what we want. The economy is actually doing really well. The U.S. economy is actually doing very well, but too well. That's why Powell wants to do what he's doing, is basically slow it down, make people more broke, and curb inflation that way. If we didn't have supply chain issues, inflation would be a lot better, but unfortunately we still do have supply chain issues. Also, what it would have been better is if the government didn't print trillions of dollars. I think that's the underlying problem that no one wants to address, or I guess there's really no way to address that. When you print $6 trillion out of thin air and distribute it out, well, what do you expect? It decreases the money, the buying power, right? That's why it causes inflation. So yeah, it's a complicated situation. Gotta live a day at a time. But basically, a lot of people are not hopeful in terms of the Fed being able to curb inflation adequately without destroying the economy. So we'll see. If the government issues a Fed coin, will it be good or bad for crypto? I don't think either. Thomas, thank you. If you're talking about like a CDBC, it's not going to really affect crypto. I think it will I take that back. It'll affect the stable coins because stable coins will be highly regulated because they will be seen as a competitor to the CDBC. But as for Bitcoin and everything else, it's different. Because Bitcoin is still decentralized and most projects are still decentralized, where CDBC is not. It's just basically a digital version of fiat, which they could control. They could still apply monetary policy, and they can inflate it as much as they want to, right? So it's even though it may be running on some private form of blockchain, it's not going to be the same as other projects. Is Hedera different enough to stand out, to be a standout opportunity? I don't know if it's different enough. It has its pros, but it's one of many L1s out there that has promise. I think their biggest pro is they do have a lot of corporations that's involved, part of their console. They do work with many big corporations, but they're still lacking with DeFi, and they don't have a lot of projects that incentivize people to stake their Hedera. So they're good in some ways and trying to catch up in other ways. Who the heck would want to work for the government on building a Fed coin? There's always people. There's always people. All right, guys. You know what? We'll see what the Fed minutes bring. But right now, the U.S. market is turning green. DXY has dropped big time. That's positive. And Bitcoin is coming right back up. We're about 16.5. Let's see where it could head for the remainder of today. But you know what? There's a lot of bad actors out there, including Gary. They're getting called out. They're being weeded out. But Bitcoiners continue to stay strong. And this is one of the best buying opportunities because we have never, ever, ever, ever seen RSI this low before. All right? So stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And by the way, for those of you guys that follow my other I Am George channel, I'm about to post a video about a new idea. So if you're interested, go head over there and let me know if it's a good idea or not. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.